So anyone battling with any illness, I want you to know that healing is possible. Healing is possible. It may take time, but it is possible. Not stand it one bit. So the journey back home was a lot, but we did it. I got back home. Obviously, I could not return to my house. My daughter is there, my sister is there, and I could infect them. Also, I need an extra space, like a room to myself where I'm not sharing anything with anybody, and I couldn't get that where I stayed. So I had to go back to my parents' space because they have enough space. And I was back in my room. Thank God for the kind of parents I have, because not once did they make me feel, oh, because of this. I mean, you could say you're their child, but yeah, I was shown so much love. And I know that before we left, the doctor had told us that she's on a high protein diet. So please make sure that our diet is followed thoroughly. Because I mean, to build immune system, you also need very healthy diet, right? And so we got back home, and it was a lot. It felt like all the things I wasn't experiencing at the hospital started. From back pain, I was always in pain. And I was using a lot of medications aside the major anti-TB medication, which is free, by the way. It's always free. And there was this one particular day, it was a March, I remember correctly. I'd been crying from morning, mommy, I'm in pain. God bless my doctor, Dr. Sam, because he held me. I used to feel like if I didn't know him, I probably would have suffered more, because these people were just unkind. Every complaint I had, they didn't know what to do about it, or just tell me it's part of what TB patients experience. I should just calm down, it will go. But having him on my speed dial, I could easily call him, this is what I'm feeling, even though he was outside the country. He would tell me, okay, go back to them, tell them this way, tell them that way. So he literally supported me through those periods. And I remember this particular day, I was in so much pain. I was in my room, and I just knew that it was hard for me to do anything. And so I called my mom, but I realized that my voice was not so loud. So I couldn't walk. So I started to crawl. Oh no, my goodness. That probably would have been the date I died. I started to crawl to my mom's room, and she told me she was scared. What's happening? Why did I not walk? Because I mean, I'd started to carry my legs. I could walk now without assistance. I just have to hold the walls around me for better stamina. And so I just said, I don't know how I'm feeling. I just feel like I'm slipping away. She's like, God forbid. No. And truly, she was there. How are you feeling? She was still doing that when I realized that it felt like I was outside my body. I could see myself. I was outside. You know that thing where they say that when people die, they know? I feel like it happened to me, because I knew that I felt like, let me not say I knew, I felt like I was close to death. And the picture I saw was my mom and my daughter. I saw my mom on the left, my daughter on the right, saying, please don't go, please don't leave me. And I was trying to talk to them that it's not me, I don't know what's happening, but they couldn't hear me. And that was all I remembered. The next time I would open my eyes, I was already in the hospital. I'd peed on myself. And I remember my mom telling me that she started to tap me, I wasn't responding. And then she called the doctor. The doctor rushed to the house to carry me. And the same thing they did for other people, that resuscitating them, was what they did for me. See, if I tell you that God saved me, I know what I'm saying. God literally saved me. Because you could have said, oh, they resuscitated you, and well, what were you expecting? But this is something I experienced other people go through, and it didn't work. And I opened myself. I was already placed on oxygen. Whew. God, thank you. And that was how my life was saved. I don't know what would have happened if I was alone in that room. I didn't crawl to them. I don't know what would have happened if the doctor tried his best and I didn't respond to it. But God, whew, ladies and gentlemen, and I feel like that was where the hope really started. You know, like there was just a light. There's going to be light at the end of the tunnel for me. If God can save me, if this was meant to lead to my death and it did not, God has better plans. And for some reason, my faith was not like I dropped it, but it's not. There were up and down days. I could barely pray for myself, but for some reason, after this particular incident, my faith was better. I trusted that God would, if God had started whatever He has started, He would not let. I knew the devil meant it for evil. He would not let it be for evil. Everything was going to work out for my good, and it did. Because have you seen me? It actually did. It worked out for my good. Not to say that back to back there weren't so many other experiences. They were, but they are all working together for my good. Now, I didn't know changes were happening in my body necessarily, because I stopped looking at the mirror. I was overly self-conscious, so I really stopped looking at the mirror. I was conscious. I was getting a lot of reactions. My body, from my neck down, like there were tiny bits of, it felt like rashes, but it wasn't. You could see that, what is this? My teeth, I'm going to put a picture. It was turning black. I remember another person was saying that, I'm using a lot of blood tonics, multivites, a lot of medications, like the reactions could come from medications. And I know that there were times I needed to be back at that center. They need to do another sputum test, I think after 4 weeks. There were a number of periods, a time frame where they needed to check, is there any improvement? And they had told me that it is paramount I add weight, that's how they know that I'm recovering. And I'm like, I used to weigh 45. By the way, I forgot to tell you that at the start of emergency, when they checked my weight, I weighed 39.3. By Jesus, I weighed 39.3 in January of 2023. Do you understand how small, how low that is? So I'm like, even if I were the weight, I've always been skinny. So what are we going to do for this? My mom, she did not leave anything to chance. You don't think you would have lost a child before and the same thing is happening. So any possible way she could do better than before, she did. I ate. I was eating 6-7 times a day. I promise you, this is not because I wanted to eat. The TB medication is that strong. In fact, if you do not eat, there's a pain you will feel that, because I didn't understand it before. I would finish eating now and I'm in pain, and I would talk to the doctor when I was on admission, and the doctor would say, have I eaten? I'll be like, yes. He said, no, go and eat again. And then I eat again, the pain is gone. I'm like, what? I just ate. So that feeling full that you feel, I didn't necessarily feel it. I felt pain, and that's how I knew to. So because of that, I was always eating, because my tummy is really paining me. And let's not forget that because I have to use my medications by 6 a.m. I also had to use it by 7 a.m. Sorry, I had to use it by 6 a.m. and I had to eat by 7 a.m. So my first meal of the day is 7 a.m. Constant. They are waking me up by 6 a.m. to use my drugs. My parents tried, because sleeping vigil day by day, they have to wake up by that 6 to make sure I didn't wake up. They woke up to wake me up. That means time to use your medications. I use it by 6 a.m. I go back to sleep. They wake me by 7 to eat, because I have to eat 1 hour after I eat. By 9, I eat my next meal. By 12, I eat my next meal. By 2, I am eating. That's 4 meals already in one day. By 5, I'm eating. Sometimes 6, 5, 6, I'm eating. That's the 5th meal of that day. By 9, I am going to eat. There are some times in the middle of the night, I wake up in pain. I have to eat. That's me literally eating 6 to 7 times. And that was how it was from the period I got back to my parents' house from February till I left, in fact, in 2024. It probably just reduced. It later reduced. It wasn't up to 6 times, but I was still eating as much. And then all of this was happening. I didn't think I was even adding weight at all. I didn't think so. Then I remember that around June, I noticed something in my body. And I don't want to go into details about that because I'm still being managed for that. And I went to the hospital. I had to go see a gynecologist. And okay, you asked to do some scans. I did a lot of scans, but I didn't get the results until later in July. So all that thought. Now in July, I started respiratory clinic. They said they would only see me when I am done with TB treatment. So I should go back, complete my treatment, and then come back. But they just were managing me for that season. I remember I finished my medications July 24, and I went to that health center with my dad. oh, today's the last day because you're supposed to come. They will do another test for you to confirm it's all gone. And they gave me the news, and I was really happy. And I told my people, some of my friends, because I mean, this period emotionally, I wasn't there. I kind of feel like I was floating. So I just wanted to be by myself, and to already going through so much. I was going through so much, and I was just floating this period. I didn't necessarily want. I didn't want it. I just wanted to be by myself, right? Although it's important to note that after 2 months, I was no longer infectious, so I couldn't infect others. But it is what it is. It was healing, body healing, and there was the all going through the fact that I have always been sick. I mean, while I was in school, people thought I was SS. So there was going through all of that with God, what's going on? And I remembered in all of this season, my mom, one of my aunts called my mom to say that she should bathe in water. The water she bathes with. She should bathe with water in a bowl and gather that water together. That water, she should use it to bathe me. And my mommy was angry. Because I remember that she came into my room that day and she held me tightly. I did not ask of you from the devil. Devil will not be telling me how to deal with this. She kept prophesying over me. God gave you to me, and so you are for signs and wonders. Yada yada yada, and it went on and on.
And then imagine hearing that you were free from TB on the 24th of July. My next appointment. Remember, I told you I started gynae appointments. At those scan, we're waiting for the results. The next appointment was 25, the second day. I remember clearly where I was seated in the hospital, and one of my friends called me. And she was on the call. I was already crying because I had gotten the news that, I don't want to talk about that. I got the news that something was wrong again. And I'm like, God, how will I be celebrating getting out of something a day yesterday, just yesterday? And today, it's another news. Am I the only one? What's happened? And my friend called. So she was still in the celebration mode because I texted her that I'm free, TB is over, 6 months is completed. And she called, it was a video call. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. And she saw me crying. You could literally see the shock from celebration mode to, oh my God, what's happening? Why are you crying? And I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. Am I the only one? This is what doctor have said. Apparently, it's a secondary complication of TB. Because of chronic coughing, it had made some of my other organs, to feel the heat of it, and now we had something else to battle. And then they were like, make it make sense from where to where. Imagine going through all of that alone, the fear, the anxiety part, I don't know what caused it, but I think the thought of, I don't know what's going on with me, it was a lot. I don't know, because I didn't think it was attached to anything, because I wasn't necessarily scared, but I started to have panic attacks. And then I would just sit down. I'm scared to the bones. I'm scared. It feels like someone just enters the room. There's this huge fear to the extent that I couldn't sleep. I had to be on drugs to sleep. I had to be on drugs to calm down. And I remember one day, it was Deeper. That's a program in my church, Deeper UK. And my pastor was talking about how some of you're going through stuff and you are just complaining. If you look back, you see what is working. And I started to reflect, where I am now, where I was in January is not the same. He said, in fact, even when you are going through stuff, you want to look like you are not going. That's the time you want to dress up the more. Just thank God. And I remember that day, I thanked God for everything that was working. Even though there were lots to see that wasn't working, I thanked God. And that was the last I heard of anxiety disorder. This is something that I diagnosed. It felt like complete healing. There was just this healing that filled my heart, and that was how that went. So now, fast forward to the fact that 21st of July, I've been declared TB free. 25th of July was my gynae appointment. Remember, I said I'd started one, and I got the news of my life, the shock of my life, and I'm like, God, how is it that one is ending, another one is picking up right a day immediately after the other one? Am I the only one? Like, what's going on? Am I the only one? And it was so bad that I remember when I sat down, because I had texted my friends the day before to say that, this thing is over, celebrate celebrate grace, celebrate God with me, thank God on my behalf. One of them was calling on the 25th. It just made sense. Like, it was just the second day she was getting back to. So she called me on video call too. She was already in the celebrating mode. And you could see the joy on her heart. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. Yada, yada, yada. And then she saw me crying because she called at the time I was crying. And she was like, you could see the shock. How she went from celebration mode to concern. That means what's happening again? And I'm like, this is what I heard. This is what I heard. What's apparently a second complication to the TB. The TB had made a lot of other things go wrong in my body, and my lung function is also reduced. Not to talk, I already know my lung function is reduced as a result of the CT scan I had done, and now I'm hearing another news from gynae. So I'm doing respiratory, I'm doing gynae. What is it? And she just encouraged me in the Lord. And at the time, I don't know what happened. My mom was really feeling, it's a lot of stress, always going with me to the hospital. Affected her. She was feeling really drained. And I remember we took Uber on our way home, and I think I have a picture of that where she was feverish, and I was just worried that, okay, God, you have made me go through this phase and come out better. This time I was already adding weight. I didn't even pay attention to it sometimes, but I was already adding weight. People were telling me, good thing anyway, good thing. It's like a good problem. You went through this and you brought this out of that. We got home, only for me to hear that my daddy too was sick. Guess what? My dad, my mom were both admitted in the hospital the same day. It just felt like devil was out to frustrate me. You can't tell me otherwise. So me that they are taking care of, I had to step up, but there was little to what I can do. So I called a lot of my dad's neighbors. They had to be there to support them. Some had to help us in the house as well because I was at home. My daughter was around because they were on holidays, so it was just her and myself in the house. And I remember at night when she had slept, Jesus Christ, I cried. I'm a crybaby because what? I cried my eyes out. I spoke to my big mom. I told her, and she just encouraged me. I told her about the news I just got, and she was like, okay, what if this has not been there? There's something to be thankful for. Don't you're not crying. You want the devil to be laughing. No, you just battled something and you came out stronger from that. Keep that in your front. And I ran with it. It was not the easiest of time, but I ran with it. I am currently still being managed for few complications as a result of TB. That's 2023. But I am thankful. I am very thankful. It has reminded me of the importance of trusting God. I weigh 67 currently. Oh my goodness. I used to be a size 6. I'm a size 12. I weigh 67. I have never in my entire life weighed 67. How I went from 39.3 to this can only be God, I promise you. Everybody in my life that knows me are shocked that I look like this. Nobody had ever, even me, I've never seen myself like this. And it makes sense because I've had a child. So in pregnancy, I didn't even weigh 67. So you can see how God is good, how God has been good. And I want to use this opportunity to say that if you are going through any health challenge, the Lord is with you. I cannot say with the right mindset, because it was not with the right anything. I went through it. There were times I didn't pray. I know other people prayer must have carried me. But if you're going through any health challenge, you will get through it. You will get through it. It's not going to be easy lots of times, but I believe that, and I'm praying that the Lord's strength is available to you. Healing, praying for strength. And I want you to know that sometimes healing is not 100%. I mean, like I said, I'm still being managed. I still go to the hospital weekly till now. Follow-up appointments. I'm running multiple clinics, from respiratory to gynecology to physiotherapy, under physiotherapy, O&G and cardio. Oh my God. To dermatology, because I started suffering from acne. And in all of this, I'm still holding on to God. This is to say that sometimes your health might not go from 0 to 100, but I want you to know that God can be trusted. And to my viewers, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to this story. Thank you so much for staying this long. I know that the story was quite lengthy, but it was important that I did it. I promised God that if He kept me alive, I would share this story, which is what led me to sharing this story in the first place. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for staying with me. Please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment if you know someone going through a tough time, I think my story is something that will encourage them that it is possible. I mean, you can see what I used to look like while I was sick and what I look like now. It can't just be only God. So I think you should please send this to them to encourage them. And if there's anything you're looking forward to me talking about, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you for staying. Thank you for showing so much love. Bye.